What if the whispers of an ancient civilization echo through the sands, waiting for one daring soul to uncover their secrets? As I stood amidst the sprawling ruins of Luxor, the sun dipping low behind the majestic columns of Karnak, I felt an unshakable pull, a call to adventure that seemed to vibrate in the very air around me. My name is Amir, a humble archaeologist born and raised in the bustling streets of Cairo, and this journey would lead me into the heart of a mystery buried for millennia. The allure of the lost city had haunted me since childhood, tales woven from fragments of history told of a place where pharaohs once walked, where knowledge and power intertwined in a tapestry of life long forgotten. Yet the urgency grew sharper when I stumbled upon an ancient artifact during a routine excavation in the Valley of the Kings. It was a small, intricately etched stone depicting a city that should not exist, a city lost to time, buried beneath layers of earth and myth. The locals spoke of it in hushed tones, calling it Ibtisam, the city of dreams, with eyes filled with both wonder and fear. As the last rays of sunlight danced across the horizon, I felt a strange energy enveloping me, as if the very spirits of Ibtisam were beckoning me closer. I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched, not by the living, but by the ghosts of those who once inhabited this land. The air was thick with anticipation, and an unsettling chill crept up my spine. Something was off, far more than the usual eerie quiet that envelops ancient ruins. I recalled the stories my grandmother recounted, tales of a curse that befell those who dared to disturb the resting places of the ancients. "They do not forget," she would say, her voice trembling, "and they will guard their secrets with ferocity." My heart raced at the thought of awakening the wrath of forgotten deities, yet the thrill of discovery outweighed the fear that clawed at my insides. Perhaps it was hubris that drove me, or simply the desire to prove that the past could still speak to us. As dusk settled, casting long shadows across the dusty ground, I felt a tremor beneath my feet, subtle at first, like a heartbeat of the earth. I froze, my breath hitching in my throat. The ground rumbled again, more forcefully this time, and I could hardly believe my eyes when a fissure appeared in the earth before me. An ancient entrance, long concealed, gaped wide, revealing a darkness that seemed to swallow the light. I was torn between dread and exhilaration. What lay beyond that threshold? A treasure trove of knowledge, or the perilous wrath of the ancients? The city of Ibtisam was not merely a tale, but a reality now beckoning me to descend into its depths. I stood at the edge of the unknown, my heart pounding with the weight of the decision before me. Would I dare to enter and uncover the secrets buried for thousands of years? But as the shadows lengthened and the stars began to twinkle overhead, an unsettling thought gripped me. What if some secrets were meant to stay buried? Yet, an inexplicable force compelled me forward, urging me to step into the darkness that promised both enlightenment and danger. But as night fell, something inexplicable happened. As I stood on the threshold of the fissure, the darkness beckoned me like a siren's call. I took a deep breath, steeling myself against the primal instinct to turn and flee. Just as I was about to step forward, a voice jolted me from my reverie. "Amir!" A familiar figure emerged from the shadows. It was Fatima, my colleague and friend, her dark curls tousled by the evening wind. "You can't be serious about going down there alone." "Fatima, you have to see this," I replied, my voice barely above a whisper, as if speaking too loudly might awaken whatever lay hidden below. "This could be the discovery of a lifetime." She stepped closer, her expression a mix of concern and curiosity. "And it could also be a death trap. You remember the last expedition, don't you? The cave-ins, the rumors?" I nodded, recalling the frantic search for our missing team members, the shadows that danced in the flickering torchlight as we scoured the tunnels for any sign of life. The darkness had a way of consuming everything in its path, both physically and psychologically. But my desire to uncover the truth about Ibtisam overshadowed my fears. Before I could respond, another voice cut through the tension. "Are you both really considering this? You know it's dangerous." It was Khaled, a rival archaeologist from a different university, whose reputation for bravado often overshadowed his expertise. He stepped forward, a flashlight illuminating his sharp features. "You think you're going to find something down there? You'll end up like those fools who disappeared?" "Enough, Khaled," I shot back, feeling the heat rise in my cheeks. "This isn't about you or your petty jealousy. This is about history." "History?" he scoffed, his tone dripping with disdain. "Or is it about your ego? You want to be the one who finds Ibtisam? You think you're destined for greatness?" The air crackled with tension. I fought to keep my composure, but his words struck deep. Did I crave recognition more than the truth? My grandmother's warnings echoed in my mind, and I could almost feel the weight of the curse pressing down on me. Was this place truly haunted, as the locals claimed? Fatima stepped between us, her voice steady. "We need to focus. We don't know what we're dealing with. If we're going to explore this, we should do it together." Khaled sneered, but nodded reluctantly. "Fine, but I'm not going to babysit you two. Just stay out of my way." With a reluctant alliance formed, we peered into the darkness, our flashlights illuminating the jagged walls of the ancient tunnel. As we descended, the air grew colder, a palpable shift that sent chills down my spine. "Do you feel that?" Fatima asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "Yeah," I replied, swallowing hard. "It feels alive." The deeper we went, the more the shadows seemed to pulse, as if the ancient stones around us were breathing. It was then that I noticed something glimmering on the ground, a series of strange symbols carved into the stone, glowing faintly. I knelt to examine them, my heart racing. "What do they mean?" Fatima asked, peering over my shoulder. "I don't know," I admitted, feeling a strange pull as though the symbols were communicating with me. But as I traced my fingers over the carvings, a sudden shriek echoed through the tunnel, sending waves of dread crashing over us. What was that? Khaled's voice trembled, and for the first time, I could see fear etched on his face. "Let's keep moving," I urged, trying to mask my own unease. But deep down, the whispers of the past were growing louder, and I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched by something far older and more powerful than we could comprehend. As we ventured further into the depths of Ibtisam, I realized we were not just uncovering history. We were awakening something that had long been dormant. And whatever it was, I feared it would not let us leave unscathed. As we pressed deeper into the tunnel, the air thickened with an unsettling energy, and the shadows seemed to stretch beyond the reach of our flashlights. I could feel the weight of my own thoughts pressing against me, battling the excitement of discovery with the gnawing fear that had taken root ever since I first heard the tales of Ibtisam in my grandmother's lap. She had spun stories of a cursed city, of explorers who had vanished into the depths, never to return. "Those who seek Ibtisam will find more than they bargain for," she used to warn, her voice low and grave. But I was here now, standing at the precipice of history, and I couldn't turn back. Suddenly, the ground beneath us trembled slightly, a low rumble echoing through the cavern. "Did you feel that?" Fatima's eyes widened, fear flickering across her features. Before I could respond, the shriek echoed again, louder this time, reverberating through the rock like a warning. Khaled's bravado evaporated, and he stepped back, his flashlight flickering as if it were struggling against the darkness. "Maybe we should go back," he stammered, glancing nervously at the shadows. "No," I insisted, feeling a surge of determination. "We need to see what's at the end of this tunnel. We've come too far." But even as I said it, doubt gnawed at my insides. What was I really searching for? Was it knowledge? Or was it something more? Some buried desire? To prove myself, to escape the shadow of my family's legacy? As we moved forward, I stumbled upon a larger chamber, its walls adorned with intricate carvings that depicted scenes of sacrifice, rituals I could barely comprehend. My heart raced as I recognized one of the figures, a woman with dark hair and piercing eyes resembling my grandmother. This looks like, I began, but the ground shook violently, cutting me off. Fatima grabbed my arm. Amir, we have to go. No, wait, I shouted, but my voice fell into the chasm of fear that had settled over us. As I strained to make sense of the images, a realization struck me like a bolt of lightning. The legends were not mere stories. They were warnings rooted in a truth I had run from my entire life. Ibtisam is tied to my family, I whispered, the words tasting bitter on my tongue. My ancestors may have been part of this curse. The weight of the revelation crashed upon me, and I felt as if the air had been sucked from the chamber. Khalid's eyes narrowed, and for the first time, I saw a flicker of something akin to fear in him. What do you mean? I opened my mouth to explain, but before I could utter a word, the symbols on the wall began to glow brighter, casting eerie shadows that seemed to dance around us. The shrieks morphed into a chorus of voices, echoing my name. Amir, Amir. The walls closed in, and I staggered back, my mind racing. Had I unleashed something I was never meant to uncover? I felt the ground shift beneath me, a chasm opening up, a literal and metaphorical divide between what I thought I knew and the terrifying reality before me. Amir, we need to get out. Fatima's voice cut through the chaos, but I was rooted to the spot, my past colliding violently with the present. As the chamber quaked, I realized the truth. I was not just an archaeologist seeking Ibtisam. I was part of its story, entwined in its darkness. And now I could feel the pull of whatever lay ahead, a force that would either claim me or set me free. The decision loomed, and as I glanced at Fatima and Khalid, I saw their fear mirrored in their eyes. Whatever lay ahead, it wasn't just about history anymore. It was about survival and the very essence of who we were. Let's go, I shouted, breaking free from the trance. But as we turned to flee, I felt a hand graze my shoulder, cold and unyielding, and a voice whispered in my ear, "You're not leaving yet." The darkness closed in on us, shifting from a mere backdrop to an active participant in our fate. I spun around, my heart racing as I felt that cold grip tighten on my shoulder. The voice was a mere whisper, yet it resonated deep within me, stirring something primal, something ancient. I turned to face the darkness behind me, and for one haunting moment, I thought I could see a figure materializing from the shadows, a silhouette that flickered like a flame in the wind. It was as if the very essence of Ibtisam was alive, watching, waiting, and it knew me. Amir! Fatima's voice broke through the haze of my thoughts. She was pulling at my arm, her eyes wide with panic. We have to run, now! But I was, paralyzed, caught in a web, woven from the fabric of my family's history. I reached out, instinctively drawn toward the figure, my voice barely a whisper. Who were you? What do you want from me? The shadows twisted, and the voice came again, more insistent this time. You've awakened what was meant to remain undisturbed. You have a choice, Amir. I felt the air thicken, charged with a raw, electric energy. It was as if the very walls were listening, holding their breath, waiting for my response. Choice? Khalid's voice broke through the din, his bravado faltering. What choice? We need to leave. No, I shouted, my voice rising above the chaos. I need to understand. The words tumbled out before I could stop them, fueled by an urgency I could no longer ignore. I need to know what my family has done, what this place has taken from us. A low chuckle echoed through the chamber, reverberating against the stone like a thunderclap. Your family's sins are written in the stone, Amir. To understand is to embrace the darkness within you. I felt the ground shift again, the tremors growing stronger, and I realized that the shadows were not merely a backdrop. They were alive, swirling around us, reaching for Khalid and Fatima. I could see their fear, their desperation to escape, and it ignited a storm of conflict within me. Amir, please, Fatima cried, her voice trembling. This isn't worth it. We can't fight this. But somewhere in my heart, I knew that running would mean burying the truth deeper, allowing the curse to continue its reign over my family. I can't leave yet, I said, my voice steadier than I felt. I need to confront whatever this is. It's my legacy, my burden to bear. In that moment, the figure in the shadows seemed to solidify, an ancient presence that embodied both the weight of my ancestry and the promise of redemption. "Embrace your past," it whispered, "or be consumed by it." My chest tightened, and I felt the pull of the darkness, a seductive dance that beckoned me closer. It was terrifying and exhilarating, and for a heartbeat, I was torn between the urge to flee and the need to face the truth. "Stay with me," I shouted to Khalid and Fatima, my voice slicing through the chaos. "We can face this together." But before they could respond, the ground cracked open, and a blinding light erupted from the fissure. The air hummed with energy, vibrating with an intensity that rattled my bones. The choice was upon me, hovering in the air like the dust that settled after a storm. As the light engulfed us, I felt the weight of my family's legacy pressing down on me, and in that decisive moment, I knew that whatever lay ahead would demand everything I had: heart, soul, and the courage to confront my destiny in Ibtisam. The blinding light enveloped me, and I felt my body being pulled in every direction as if I were caught in a tempest. The shadows that had swirled around us melted away, replaced by an overwhelming force that bore down on me, suffocating yet invigorating. With a sudden jolt, I was thrown to the ground, the impact knocking the breath from my lungs. As I lay there, gasping for air, I could hear Khalid and Fatima's voices mingling with the fading echoes of the confrontation. "Amir!" Fatima's cry pierced through the haze. "Are you okay?" I opened my eyes, blinking against the bright light that had now dimmed to a soft glow. I pushed myself up, feeling the rough ground scrape against my palms. My heart raced, each beat a reminder of the choice I had made. The figure was gone, but the air still crackled with its presence, leaving an imprint on my very soul. Did we win? Khalid's voice trembled with uncertainty, his brow furrowed as he scanned the surroundings. I could see the remnants of the shadows retreating, but the uncertainty hung heavily in the air. "I think so," I replied, my voice hoarse. "But it's not over." Even as the words left my lips, I felt a chill creep up my spine. The shadows might have receded, but I sensed there were threads of darkness still lurking just beyond the edges of my vision, waiting for the right moment to emerge again. Fatima knelt beside me, her hands trembling as she brushed dirt from my face. "You scared us. You shouldn't have confronted it alone." There was a fierce protectiveness in her eyes, but I could also see the shadow of doubt. What had we truly faced? I looked around, noticing the fissure in the ground where the light had erupted. It was still glowing faintly, as if it held secrets I wasn't yet ready to uncover. I couldn't run, Fatima. I had to know. Khalid shifted uneasily, his bravado stripped away. What if it comes back? What if it wasn't really defeated? As I contemplated his question, I felt the weight of my family's history pressing down on me. The confrontation had left emotional scars, doubts, fears, and questions that loomed larger than ever. I had faced the darkness, but what lay ahead was a labyrinth of unresolved mysteries. In the distance, I could see the remnants of the shadows, swirling like smoke, hinting at something deeper, something still intertwined with my family's legacy. "We need to uncover the truth," I said, my voice gaining strength. "This isn't just about me anymore. It's about all of us." Fatima nodded, though concern flickered in her eyes. But how do we even begin? As I stood, a sudden chill swept through the air, and I caught a glimpse of a figure at the edge of the light, a fleeting shadow that seemed to beckon me forward. I shivered, knowing that our journey was far from over. Yet the thrill of discovery ignited a fire within me. "Together," I answered, determination coursing through my veins. "We'll confront whatever comes next as a family." But deep down, I could still feel the echoes of the past pulling at me, and the shadows whispered their secrets. promising that the next chapter of our story was just beginning. As we stepped toward the fissure, I couldn't shake the feeling that the darkness was waiting, patient and watchful, for the moment we would return. As we approached the fissure, I felt an otherworldly pull, like gravity shifting beneath my feet. The air shimmered, distorting my vision, and whispers danced around us, echoing secrets long buried. Each step forward felt as if I were walking on the edge of reality itself, where time and space twisted into something unrecognizable. Suddenly, the ground beneath us quaked, and the warm glow of the fissure morphed into a kaleidoscope of colors, pulsating like a heartbeat. Khalid grabbed my shoulder, his grip tight with fear. "What's happening?" he gasped. Before I could respond, the fissure erupted, sending beams of light spiraling into the sky. I stood transfixed as the colors shifted and swirled, revealing glimpses of alternate worlds, each more bizarre than the last. I saw futures, where shadows danced freely, where laughter echoed in voids of darkness, and where figures resembling us were trapped in endless loops of confrontation. "Amir!" Fatima's voice broke through the haze, but it sounded distant, as if she were calling from another realm. I felt my consciousness fray at the edges, the boundaries of my reality blurring. The truth hit me like a wave. We had opened a door, not just to our past, but to an infinite tapestry of existence, where our choices would ripple through time and space, forever altering our destinies. And then, in the throes of chaos, I saw it, a reflection of myself, smiling knowingly, a version of me that had embraced the shadows. It reached out, and I felt an overwhelming urge to step forward. I hesitated, my heart pounding, caught between the life I knew and the strange allure of possibility. As the colors swirled, I felt the world shift, the shadows coiling around me, merging with my essence. In that moment, I realized I was both, the seeker and the sought, the light and the darkness intertwined. I was becoming part of the very phenomenon we had fought against. The last thing I heard was Fatima's scream, echoing through the shifting realms as I crossed the threshold and vanished into the surreal tapestry of existence. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more stories like this. Share with your friends, so they can also embark on this mystery-filled adventure. Leave a comment below telling us your favorite part or what kind of ending you'd like to see in a future story.